All right. So our main story of today, Bitcoin has had its share of trouble over the years. It has faced some significant pushback from regulators and authorities alike. Its reputation has had to carry baggage like the association with the dark web, WikiLeaks, extortion from hackers, and malware exploits. But Bitcoin and crypto in general is maturing, and it seems to be shedding some of the stigma that's been attached to it for years. But one person that it apparently has not won over is the United States President Donald Trump, who apparently has a major bone to pick with Bitcoin, going as far as telling the Treasury Secretary to look into, quote, shutting it down. So according to leaked reports from a soon-to-be-published book written by a former NSA advisor who served in the Trump administration, the president went as far as ordering the Treasury Secretary to go after Bitcoin. Like, go take the Bitcoin store down. Go take it down. The book is titled The Room Where It Happened. It's written by former NSA John Bolton. Bolton, who is a pretty staunch war hawk from the Bush era. He exited the administration after falling out with President Trump. So the notion of Trump probing his administration for opportunities to curb the rising popularity of Bitcoin shouldn't come as a surprise to most, seeing he has expressed his disdain for Bitcoin going back to July of 2019 when he tweeted this famous "I'm not a fan of Bitcoin" statement, letting the world know that he doesn't want Bitcoin to feel welcome, citing all the usual critiques that it's used for illegal activity. I didn't buy any when it was cheap, therefore I don't like it. Of course, it's understandable how the billionaire New Yorker, who later became the leader of the free world currently, would want to do something to address the fintech gambit that is cryptocurrency, right? Cryptocurrency is a new and uncontrolled financial system that just happens to threaten the United States dollar's global hegemony at a time when it is already on the ropes. Trump, of course, is of the belief that the United States dollar will and should always be the dominant currency in the world. So any notion of an unregulated global alternative arriving to challenge the status quo of the American dollar on the world stage would naturally be seen as an existential threat. Therefore, it comes as no surprise Trump may have floated the idea of a Bitcoin crackdown inside his administration. Trump is also famous for his Twitter-based tirades, of course. He just launched into a new one over the allegations presented in John Bolton's new book, describing it as, quote, full of lies and fake stories. He talks about a snake somewhere in here. Apparently, the Department of Justice is also objecting to the contents of the new book, and it's recently filed an injunction in order to stop the publication and distribution of Bolton's new book. I think book sales are going to be quite good. Maybe we can get it leaked on the dark web. According to the Washington Examiner, who previewing the contents, Trump told Mnuchin, "Don't be a trade negotiator," at a time when the United States was engaging in a bitter trade and currency war with our chief rival, China. Indeed, it's alleged that Trump told Mnuchin to go after Bitcoin for fraud back in May 2018, suggesting the administration's standoffish approach to crypto may have come as an order from the very top. Industry commentators have long since suspected that since at least 2017, the actions of some United States regulators were purposely crafted and timed to target the cryptocurrency space and obstruct innovation and adoption in cryptocurrency. Back in 2017, Trustnodes ran this article titled "No ETF, No ICO. Is the SEC Ideologically Motivated Against Blockchain Innovation?" And this explored, why regulators took a very militant stance on the crypto industry in the early days of the Trump administration. And at the time, speculation was that Jay Clayton, who's the chair of the SEC, was the one calling the shots and bringing the hammer down on the cryptocurrency space. Now it would appear it was in fact Trump himself who put pressure on Mnuchin to pour cold water on a booming new industry, going as far as calling on the Treasury Secretary to set up some sort of financial council to look into crypto, but nothing apparently actually came of that. So when Trump called out Bitcoin back in July of 2019 in that now infamous tweet, many thought it had more to do with addressing Facebook's Libra and shoring up support for the United States dollar, when he wrote that, quote, "We have only one real currency in this United States dollar, stronger than ever. It's both dependable and reliable. It is by far the most dominant currency anywhere in the world, and it will always stay that way. It is called the United States dollar," end quote. But now, after what's been revealed in Bolton's book, potentially, little doubt seems to remain that the current U.S. administration has a detrimental policy towards what may be the most innovative technology since internet communication began. Now, whether or not this will be a major political issue to fight over during this election cycle remains to be seen. Most likely not. I doubt we're going to be seeing Bitcoin on the news with regards to the election cycle. While crypto is maybe largely symbolic in regards to freedom and liberty. Most politicians merely pay lip service to these concepts, as we've seen so far. You know, potential candidates, some that have risen to popularity, might have been counted on to raise the issue and challenge, I guess, the administration over this stifling of fintech innovation. Seeing as Joe Biden is the Democratic nominee, it seems to be almost assuredly that Bitcoin will not be something that these two will be debating when they go head to head later this year. Now, crypto happens to be an apolitical global industry. Regardless, I believe I was talking about this yesterday, even though Bitcoin is one of those things that people try to stuff into whatever political motivational box that they try to argue from, and they use Bitcoin or the ethos of decentralization to kind of justify their own political motivations, which I don't think is a good thing. Bitcoin is Bitcoin. It is what it is. It's apolitical, right? And it's created a lot of jobs. It's created a lot of innovation. The entire blockchain space has created a lot of innovation. Despite this, it still manages to ruffle the feathers of the existing power structure. And that likely means that we won't be welcomed into the fold until prevailing sentiment on at least Capitol Hill changes in due time, which makes a lot of sense. If you guys were wondering, like, are they against Bitcoin? Well, the answer is yes. Yes, they're against Bitcoin. And I don't think it could be any other way. But I think, you know, maybe with a slight change in perception, we could have a little bit of an easier uphill battle. You know, maybe we could get a rope, right? And we could actually start climbing instead of just like having water poured down this uphill battle. Yeah, I'm just going to directly quote the epic rap battle of history between Alexander Hamilton and Satoshi Nakamoto, right? Which is, you know, like, what, you know, Bitcoin doesn't have to be this massive threat to the existing power structure, right? There's, you know, over 100 currencies, right? 150 currencies, right? Bitcoin makes 151. Like, why all the hate? It's just an option. It's an alternative. Give people the choice. Give people the freedom to choose the currency that they want to hold their value in. But, you know, sovereigns have a history of not liking that. So